it's Wenli coming to you from Fate of the Empress, and I am going to do part 2 of the treasure information overview and explanation. So previously in a video I have explained how to level up and upgrade with moonstones, and that's posted in a couple different playlists. Please go find that if you're interested in those two functions of treasures. Today we're going to talk about the other functions of treasures and quartzes. So let's take a look at my main character's treasure first, because there's some good info there. So go to level up, and today we're going to talk about polish, inlay, and fuse of these quartz. Okay, so in polish we have the ability to change some of the stats of your treasure and also add skills, which can be extremely helpful. So let's take a look at a couple of different pieces of information here. So one is when you first start out, and I'll show you on Ying Zhang because I just added him to my team, so he has a pretty low polished treasure. But when you start out, you get like 2 of these little stats additions, and they're pretty low, and then as you polish it increases and increases up until 5. So right now I'm at 5 stats for each polish, and you can also, like, if you find a stat you really love, then you can lock it with these treasure polish locks and polish after that. So let's say, I mean, if only I had this 11.5% ACC on typing or Ying Zhang, I'd be like so delighted. But, and I would lock that in for them and polish a couple more. But my main character is a guard, so I really don't need that. So I think the one that I locked in was probably crit damage resist, because I have a lot of crit damage buff in my toys, so I'm trying to like balance that a little bit and get more damage resistance, because some of the teams I go against have a lot of damage. So let's take a look at the skills. So that's how to treat the stats portion. And stats are really actually a pretty important part of this polish process. You don't want to just take it for the skill, you also want to take it for its stats. So like for instance, that ACC on this polish option, I just don't need it. I don't need that HP, the basic HP either. I don't need to increase mine 30% because I already have like the most HP on my team, on my MC. So like things that I do need are like damage buff, resist, crit damage resist, and crit damage buff. So those are things that I would have looked for when I was trying to get a good polish for my MC. Right now I have Heartless Chef, which deals 8% more damage to gourmets, and that is in large part because of Jiao Chan. I have her on my team. I know how valuable she is, and she revives. And if you can't get her down, sometimes you're going to lose because the other team's going to revive the player that hurts you the most. Okay, the hero that hurts you the most. All right, so, and the other one I have is Feverish Brilliance. Increased damage by 25% when attacked by scholars. And this is helpful against Mozzie and, you know, Fu Yanqi. So those are things to look for, like what kinds of challenges are your team facing, what are you vulnerable against, and what's going to benefit you the most. So those are the skills that you want to be looking for when you're polishing. But mostly you also want to be looking at, let me give you an example here. I have Refilled Energy, and it's a purple level skill here. The writing is purple, so that's rare. And increase the healing effect received by 26% when HP is 30% or less. It can't be dispelled, which is really great. Like, I love Refilled Energy for especially my gourmets like ZZ and Jiao Chan. But that one's just a purple level one. If you keep polishing, you're probably going to end up with a fabled one eventually, And this one increases the healing effect received by 40% when HP is 30% or less. So the quality of the skill is also pretty important. Like, fabled skills are hard to come by. As you can see, like, I have 8 polishes in the waiting list, and only 3 of 16 of the skills on them are fabled. So it's not very common. So do watch out for those red letter skills. They're going to be better and more effective than the other ones. So do be aware of that. All right, let's get into this and polish a couple so I can show you what it looks like. And let's go to Ying Zhang because he's my new dude. So he needs the most work. I just did this yesterday for him, and you can see he only has 2 polish slots, 2 stat slots open so far. So I put anticipated vision on him to give everybody an AGI buff for now, but really, like, probably hard journey would be good because it has a fabled level skill and it also has this resistant EVA, and he's kind of squishy for my level for right now. So I mean, that wouldn't be a bad choice. So I kept it as an option. But you can do a lock. So this is a crit damage buff. And I could polish and it would come up with the same skill. And usually it's the same stat. Sometimes it's more. And it'll come up with a different skill though. So you can polish like as often as you want, but do be aware that these polished crystals are a bit hard to come by. I have definitely had to grind a lot to collect them, and some of it has been involving like events with money where I just coincidentally get them. So like just be aware of that. They are not, what do you say, like they're not ones you want to just waste frivolously. You want to have a point and a goal when you're doing that. So, maybe pick the skill that you think is going to be good and try for a fabled version, or pick the stats that you really want and try for that. I think I'm actually going to put Hard Journey on him because the resistant EVA is really good, and also I have one more with the crit damage buff on it, so if I ever want to get crit damage buff back on him, I can simply select that one and then lock in crit damage buff and then polish a few more until I find what I want. That's another reason why it's good to have like some of these extras. So, maybe you have options later. So this Precise Strike has 2 crit damage buffs on it though, which is pretty good. But I think I'm going to go with Hard Journey and Resistant EVA for now. Okay, so that's polish. And like, if you ever really want to like dig into this more deeply, usually Giodi, when he was doing team rebuilds, he would talk about polish a lot when he's polishing. So if you want more information on it, you can dig through some of his team redos on his channel and see if you can find out more information. Like, that's the basic information I know and what I can give you. All right, so let's talk about Inlay. Inlay and Upgrade are tied together because whether or not the slot is open for slot number 2 is based on how far upgraded you are. So this one requires it to be upgraded to tier 6. I don't have that right now, and I don't have enough Moonstone to really make that happen yet, which is fine. But let's talk about the statistics that you can add to your treasure and thus your hero using these quartz inlays. So here I have all the ones that are not already inlaid, and it can do things like give you damage resist, resist and damage resist. It can give you HP, ACC, damage buff. Like this one's a damage buff one. So 6.19% damage buff and attack increase. This one has 3% ACC and also a pretty good chunk of crit. And the one I really want, like for him right now, is this 10% ACC and 1400 attack. It seems to have really increased his effectiveness. So there's that. Let's take a look at mine. So I have one that I won somewhere that's like a damage buff gem. So 6% damage buff and 300 crit. Plus this crit resist one. And also this AGI crit one. So I'm almost to the 4th inlay open, and that will help a bit. Let's take a look at typings, because I got this one through Guild Coliseum, and I think that's where I got the damage buff one also, the level 4 damage buff. And that's a really great place to get these quartz, is Guild Coliseum. Even if you can't rank very high, you still get a couple of quartz every time. And one level 2 or 3, one quartz bag in guild loot is 15,000 guild contribution. That is a lot of contribution. I buy those a lot. And like having a few or 1 or 2 or 3 from Guild Coliseum a week helps a lot. So you're helping your guild and you're also helping yourself to do Guild Coliseum. It's not my favorite either, trust me, I know. Take breaks from it once in a while. But if you're available and you're bored on a Saturday night, do Guild Coliseum. Like, just do it for the participation points and some quartz and a little bit of loot. It'll add up over time, I promise. Slowly, like trickling water, but it'll add up. So, this one's a HP one. It added 20,000 HP to typing here and some defense. And this one's EVA and resist, or not typing, to Jiao-Chan. So quartz can be really awesome and amazing and helpful. How do you level them up? That's a really great question. So I don't have a ton on me right now, but I can kind of show you the process. I probably wouldn't do damage and damage resist together because they're so diametrically opposed, but you add 3 and then you click fuse and then it makes a new gem. Sometimes this gem is like the same as the ones you put in, like it makes a hybrid, or if you have 3 HP, it'll spit out another HP one. Sometimes it comes out very different. Like you could put 2 HP and then 1 defense in and it'll come out like attack resist. I don't understand it personally, but sometimes that happens. It's not like fusing relics in Cascade. It is like you are going to get what you're going to get. Once you get to level 3 or 4 and you start fusing, there sometimes will come up a warning that says fusing these may cause a fractured quartz. You may lose something, and that does happen very occasionally. So when you're fusing higher level quartz, it can definitely affect the success rate. So just be aware of that. You might lose a quartz here or there, but fusing it for higher stats is still worth it. So I've only lost, I think, in 8 months of doing it, and I grind a lot for quartz and I buy a lot from guild loot. I probably only lost 2 in 8 months. So it doesn't happen very often. It just happens very occasionally. So don't be too scared about fusing your quartz and just move forward. Try to, match up the purpose. So if you have like 2 attack and 1 crit, or, 2 ACC and 1 agility, that kind of thing. Try not to put like diametrically opposed quartz together. I find that gives it a higher success rate. or at least I haven't run into a lot of problems yet. So that's my best advice. All right, so let's see. I even have a log of my fusion, and it says succeeded, succeeded, succeeded. Lots of successes. Let's see if I can even find one where it didn't succeed. Succeeded, succeeded. Yeah. Lots of successes. See? So I'm not just having a skewed memory. I can't find a single one that did not succeed. Yep. So that's my log. And I haven't had one break into months. All right, guys, that is all that there is to treasure between this video and the other video. If you have questions, comments, anything else that you think that I missed about treasure, please let me know in the comments below. Please be respectful. As always, help each other out and have a great night.